Emolyn Liden. I'm from Western North Carolina, specifically Brasstown, North Carolina, in the mountains. And I am a fiber artist, a knitwear designer, spinner, natural dyer. I also am a fiddler, old-time Appalachian music mostly, and a percussive dancer, which is, in my mind, flat-footing clogging, and I also love Cape Breton step dancing. Things have been changing and developing in the past couple of years. For about 3 years, I've had my own business, which I call the Roving Knitter, which incorporates the fiber arts side of things with traveling. And through that, I do teaching, and I've developed a line, you could say, of knitwear, and I do craft shows. And then I have been playing in a couple different bands, mostly old-time Appalachian music, and I also teach percussive dancing, clogging. I'm a part of the Greengrass Cloggers, and in college I danced with the Cane Creek Cloggers, and so I've been working for myself. It's about to rain.
Maybe it'll stop.
Okay. So I've been working for myself, which was a scary thing to do, but also has become one of my happiest achievements. I was working in a restaurant, like most people who want to be making art, and I, of course, was juggling all of those things, and realized one day that the amount of time I was putting into working in a restaurant, getting myself to work, and all of that, working for other people, I might as well attempt to work for myself, even if I was going to be poor for a while. But luckily, my parents always said that I could come home and eat dinner anytime I needed to, and I think that was one of the biggest things. Actually, was having their support. My mom raises sheep, and she's a craft person, and she taught me all of the knitting and spinning and natural dyeing that I do. And then my dad had a real job, not a real job. He had a full-time job working for a boss that wasn't himself while we were young. And my mom would tell stories about how she could venture into the arts because she was always going to be fed by my dad, and so maybe that's what really the first example I had at being a crafts person. And then I grew up pretty much at the John C. Campbell Folk School, and the people at the folk school and the people who moved to the area are craftspeople, and so some of my adult friends when I was a kid are potters, woodworkers, blacksmiths, quilters, and so yeah, I've just had that example my whole life, which presents maybe not a lifestyle that will make you rich, but a rich lifestyle in the sense that you get to do what you feel you were put on this earth to do, and make the world a better place through your art, which I think a lot of people are genuinely trying to bring beauty to the world and nourishing things that are special instead of mass-produced things, and things with a story that can then become an heirloom, and really things that are more valuable than paper money. And so also through my parents, they played music when I was a kid. They were in some bluegrass bands and loved playing old-time Appalachian music. And when I turned 18, my dad gave me a fiddle. I went to a festival in Chattanooga and saw Eileen Ivers, Claire Lynch, Steve Riley, and the Mamu Playboys. We must have stayed in the dance tent the whole time because I remember Cajun and Zydeco dancing, and Eileen Ivers playing Irish fiddle totally blew me away, and I wanted to play the fiddle, and I said it out loud. And so when I graduated from high school, that's what I got for Christmas, was a fiddle. And I didn't play very much in my first few years of college because I was in a suite, and I didn't want my 5 other roommates to hear me screeching. But over time, I developed more confidence and started going to jams and potlucks in the Chapel Hill area, and there are a lot of musicians there. Through them, I started clogging, and I had never been on a team for clogging. I just would dance, at dances in the corner or shuffling my feet. And so I really enjoyed the team aspect of it and started going to festivals that way. And then I guess in the past couple of years, my teaching has developed mostly through the support of my mom and also starting to teach at the folk school. And when I was a kid, I went to Little Middle Folk School, and so now I teach there, and that's a great program where kids can sample multiple different mediums of art for an hour and go on to their next one and go on to their next one. And so I teach there now, which is a fun full circle type thing. And really this summer, so it's June 2014, I will be at 6 different camps. So I'll be experiencing everybody arriving to the camp, getting to know each other, learning something new, being so excited by that new information, then having to say goodbye and farewell, and off we go at the end of the week. And I'll be going through that 6 times. So some in North Carolina, upstate New York, New Hampshire, and it's all around music and dance and art. So I'll be applying my skills full force this summer, and I hope by the end of it I still like my job that I'm creating for myself. I will say one of the reasons that I think I've combined art with music is because music for me is a really social thing. There's a lot of jams and parties, and with old time music you can learn from each other. It's a very collaborating type of genre of music. We learn by ear, so it really is learning a version from somebody, and maybe you'll learn a version from somebody else, and you can kind of remember where you learned it and who you learned it from. So the social aspect of music combined with the physical aspect of dancing, combined with the sedentary, solitary aspect of knitting, actually keeps me really balanced, because if I am around people nonstop, which is what a camp is, at the end of the week I kind of want to be around no one, and so going into the studio and knitting and spinning and doing the dyeing is more solitary and reflective, and it's brain work. They say knitting connects the right and the left sides of the brain, and so then when I'm in the studio for too long and I start feeling kind of isolated, I usually have a gig over the weekend or some kind of dance practice to go to, and so then I get the social side of it again. So that's probably why I continue doing all 3 things at kind of the same pace and intensity. I think it was actually I know it was my dad that really inspired travel when I was a kid, and he started taking us on family trips. And so I learned early on how unexpected, beautiful things happen when you travel. And I've wanted to continue kind of following that feeling all over the world. But in addition to that, I think it's really important to never show up empty-handed. So here I am empty-handed, but I could dance or sing or go grab an instrument or teach you a song, or if you have 2 sticks and a ball of twine, we can start, knitting something that will then become useful. So that's, as I develop those skills and crafts, that's how I will show up with something to offer, in addition to the food and whatever it takes to start the party. But so knitting is part of what I do, and I have a spinning wheel. So I also enjoy making the yarn. This is hand spun yarn with The wool is from the sheep that my mom raises, and it's dyed with natural dyes, which you can't really see because the white that it's plied with is sort of taking the color, uh, taking over the color. But anyway, so that's a scarf that I'm making. Here you have the natural dyes coming through. The yellow is marigold. The orange is madder root. The fuchsia is cochineal. The blue is indigo. We mix onion skins to make yellow with the indigo and get green. And marigold, onion skins, broom sedge. Yellow is the easiest color to get when you do natural dyeing. We find those in western North Carolina. So here is one of the hats, and here's another, and it has hand spun on the bottom, and some naturally dyed mixed in. And here's another. And I really love tops, so each one kind of has a different snowflake, star, swirl type pattern on the top. Here you can see the natural dyes, maybe. And it's a shinier white. It's also drapier with the tencel, Tencel, mixed in with the wool. Here's another. So it's thick and thin. Kind of see through it a little bit. Is that good? When I think about art and creativity, what I always tend to come back to is the philosophy of we have one life, and if it's not up to anybody else but ourselves to create the one that we want. So it's really an interaction with yourself and your life and the creation of the reality that you want, and hopefully inspiring others to do the same. Because I'm 30 years into mine, and I want to be happy with each day that I have here and all of the days in the future.